Well, we actually, the purpose of the meeting was to hear from both sides of this issue, what are the main concerns, and obviously there's a border dispute. Both parties are claiming lands that overlap, and as a result, one party sees another engaging in activity in their land, and of course that stirs up emotions and action. So we invited both parties. We invited the leaders of Yemeri Grove, we invited the leaders of Laguna to come and have this meeting to share their concerns. And the expectation was that we would have left here with parts or pieces or a total proposal going forward. Unfortunately, Yemeri Grove could not make it. We got a communication that they could not reach all the members of the village council, and we respect that. They said they needed more time. So we proceeded to meet with the ones who were here, and that's the leadership of Laguna. However, we do intend to meet with the other party this evening and over the weekend so that we can get their proposal to move forward. If that proposal, if they cannot agree, ultimately it will be the decision of the government to have an interim measure that will serve all parties.
And for that interim measure, how long do you think the government is going to take to act on it?
Well, I'm thinking within the next 7 to 10 days, because we cannot have it go much longer, otherwise we will continue to have challenges on the ground. But also these communities are neighbors for a long time. It's unfortunate to see what has happened, and we need to get it resolved quickly.
And what was the response from Laguna's side regarding this, meeting?
They were very positive. They are looking forward. They actually made a proposal, which I'm not at liberty to share as yet, that we will also discuss with Yemeri Grove, the entire council, over the weekend, hopefully, and see where it goes from there. And ultimately, if the parties cannot agree, as I mentioned, the government will make a decision. So the Commissioner of Police, Mr. Chester Williams, was also present at this meeting. He had his officer in charge, Mr. Hamilton, and I think the person in charge of the Southern Formation, Mr. Moreira, was also here, and gave his reassurances of the police department's commitment to work with these two communities and to ensure that there is a easing of the challenges that are, and the temperatures and the emotions that are happening, that are being stirred up around this issue, surrounding this issue. So we look forward as well to their support.
Also, Senior Marshal-elect is around in the meeting. So tell us the role that he is playing.
Well, Senior Counsel Andrew Marshal-elect is our lead legal representative when it comes to the consent order, the Maya land rights case, where government is obliged to implement policy, legislation, administrative measures to ensure that the rights that have been granted by the Caribbean Court of Justice or affirmed by the Caribbean Court of Justice are actually implemented. So he's here to hear as well from both sides and to ensure that anything that is being done on the part of the government takes into account the ruling of the court, but also that the rights of other parties are also respected. And so the village leaders were here from Yemeri Grove. Unfortunately, we had with us as well from the government side, the Attorney General, Honorable Anthony Sylvester, and actually the Deputy Prime Minister and the Minister of Lands, Honorable Cordell Hyde, along with Minister Valderramos, who were all here on a related issue with the Maya communities, and so they definitely have discussed this issue before. It was discussed in Cabinet earlier this week, and so the prioritization was also to meet along with the leaders of Yemeri Grove. And we explained the same proposal that we had shared with Laguna Village, that we asked them to provide a boundary, what they consider to be their boundary, Yemeri Grove, what they consider to be their boundary. Laguna has shared what they consider to be their boundary. We have received something interim as well from Yemeri Grove today, and we will move towards negotiating that again next week with Laguna Village. And the same message was given, and they agreed to it as well. If there is no agreement or no consensus coming out of that negotiation, then the government will be forced to provide a temporary border delineation for the communities. The Deputy Prime Minister also suggested that there be a signed agreement between both parties, that they will not interfere with the other, that they will not conduct any further activities within the areas of dispute. Those details we have to look at. We also have to discuss that with Laguna, because that didn't come up with Laguna Village. That was a suggestion by the Deputy Prime Minister. So we're looking at those different options, and hopefully we leave on Friday the 13th with at least a temporary border between, or boundary between these two communities. And then we take it to the next step to formalizing these borders, these boundaries, which will take its own process. That's going to be a long process, because only one village in Belize has actual legal boundaries. So